Okay, well, it's 8 o'clock and we have
Bell
a
just
quorum
rang.
and the bell rang. And school is now in session. I'm going to call this meeting to order. First item of business is in regard to the minutes of the March 13th, 2016 regular meeting. You've been previously provided with a copy of those minutes. Are there any questions or any corrections that need to be made?
I did not see any, so I'll make a motion we approve the minutes.
I wasn't there, but it was March 8th. Huh?
Oh, March 8th, that is correct.
Okay, all right, I was gonna say, I could have
What
been the
did you say?
16th.
Why
He
did
said
I-
the 16th.
13th.
13, 'cause that's
Oh,
how
it
I
says
have
March
on-
8th on the minutes here.
Yeah.
So we'll interlineate that those minutes were for the
Sorry.
March 8th meeting on the agenda. And
I'm
then,
telling you, I was doing these on the weekend under the influence of my,
Madison.
so as to
Madison.
your motion, it is to the
March 8th.
The March 8th meeting. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay. Well, I was there, so I will second that. We have a motion second on the floor. Roll call vote, please. Can you do this?
I can do that.
Okay.
Bryce,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes,
Randy.
Yes, or do I need to abstain?
you wouldn't need to abstain. You're
Okay.
assuming that they're correct.
All right,
All right.
yes.
Then we have also, you've been provided with a copy of the financials. Are there any questions in regard to the financials that have been provided?
If you'll notice that under the community bank account, there's an Anderson Creek wildfire. That is a donation that was given to us that once they have, how they, by an entity, and once they know how they want to disperse those to the volunteer fire departments, then they'll notify me and I'll send those checks. We're just acting as
Just a pass-through.
a pass-through agency for those. And the same thing with the event center funds, once they know, I assume I'll be transferring those funds to them pretty soon since they've gotten their entity established. And then the only other thing is the pledge transfer, and that's $8,100. You'll notice that economic development pledge is under your liabilities and equity. On the profit and loss, you'll notice we've had expenses for the Winoka incubator. A good chunk of that was utilities expense, because we left the heaters on during the winter. And since that time, I've turned all of those off. The only thing that we have down there now is a city bill. We left the electricity and the water on for our guy to do his repair work, which he's about finished. We did also change the industrial building, West Lakes Industrial Building, to our name, and so we had a utility expense there, and Merlin went and changed and repaired the walk-through doors, the locks on those. So those are the only things out of the ordinary.
I'll make a motion to approve them. Say aye.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the financial reports as of May 2016 is presented. Roll call vote, please.
Randy?
Yes.
Bryce?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes. On outstanding bills, what action do we need to?
The only thing that we have is the $8,100 pledge transfer.
And that's to the WCEDC.
Yes, that's correct.
I make a motion we make the $8,100 transfer.
I'll second it.
Second, got a motion and a second on the outstanding bills to make a transfer of $8,100 to the WCEDC.
Bryce?
Yes.
Randy?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes. Next item is the approval, disapproval of the audit for the FY 2014-2015.
The audit is not here, but we should have it for our next meeting, and I may have to go get the contract for the next one. So it,
So there's no action we can take on
no
that.
action, no, she figured we'd have it by the end of June. And let me get her contract. Sorry, I thought I had that printed up here.
What's going on in your world?
Just a lot of things.
Anything good?
Oh, well, it was good. About played Paul and I out. We had all the grandkids last week, and
Again?
5 of them. Well, Casey and Tracy had to go to a wedding in California, so the 3 little ones are a handful.
You think? How old are they?
1, 3, and 5.
A little harder than it used to be, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you forgotten some of these skills?
Well, I'm telling you what I find with Allison will bring her to her, and it's down on the floor and up and that. I find that's not as easy as getting
No
up and down all the
question,
time.
no
You know, they
question.
want you to chase them around, throw them, and do all that stuff. It's like, oh, let's do something else for a while.
Yeah.
TVs are always on the cartoons. Can't get the news. No,
Sometimes it's pretty hard to keep them
Yeah,
entertained.
yeah.
Well, it's like Allison the other day. I see something watching something on TV, some news report, and she said, "I haven't seen the news in 3 years." She said, "It's not a cartoon or a movie or something." She said, "We don't have it on." Kind of forget about that. We had one group, you know, the kids' generation, they go through different cartoons. Different
Right.
One of them, I don't know which one, but it was the Rugrats. And Allison, one day that they guess that that's on TV again or still or something. Anyway, her kids were watching that. And she sent a text message to Tanner Drew and said, "This just reminds me of you boys." That's what they used.
Yeah.
Okay, you got the floor, son.
I'm
What do you
sorry.
want to know?
She's still
No,
gathering her information here.
I'm just, here's the contract for next year. In her letter, I guess her accounting clerk had to retire, so, because of health reasons. So she says she had a big deadline on June 15th, and we'll have our audit finished shortly thereafter, at least by the end of the month, so. The de-engagement letter to perform the audit for ending this year of August 31st, 2016 would be $2,860 plus the $100 filing fee to the state auditor's office.
And what was our amount last year?
I knew you were gonna ask
Well, it seemed like it was somewhere. She hadn't sent a bill, obviously.
that.
Seemed like it was like
There was about.
in that same,
Yeah, same range. I
yeah, I just can't remember exactly what it was.
Wonder if they charge by percentage or.
I don't know how they did. I know Bickerstaff, I used to ask Henry that, and he'd charge something for, and I'd say, "Well, how did you decide that?" He says, "Oh, you know, just," kind of looked at it, and I thought that's what that was worth. I mean, we were in some estate, and I was trying to get him to tell me what we were paying and how much
Yeah.
and why, and, you know, was it hourly? No. Was it just by job? Well, not really, but it was just kind of what I say it is.
Well, that's kind of like the counties, it's set on, no matter what, we can only pay a certain percentage of a mill levy.
Right. There's that agreement if you want to.
And of course, the state auditor does it. Which, I still think is, I guess it's okay. Well, they preach to us that county government is not to be in competition with private enterprise. Now, what the hell are they doing?
Do as we say, not as we do.
They said there's a lot of those unwritten rules, and I said, the auditor told me that, and I said, well, could I have a list of those?
Well, golly, those unwritten rules put a lot of county commissioners in prison.
Exactly.
years ago.
Exactly.
I mean, apparently that didn't work for them.
For the year before, because I don't know what it is this year, but it was $27.95, so I think it's $200 difference.
Okay, and was that $27.95 plus the filing fee, or you think that was everything?
I think that was everything.
So this will be $29.60.
That'd be the total, $28.60 for the audit,
Yeah.
and $100 filing fee,
Right.
which is statutory, so.
Right. We want to do that before she finishes the other one.
Well,
I mean, I don't care, I'm asking.
We've done that the last 2 years. Unhelpful.
I don't have a problem with that. She's done it before, she doesn't work, so.
I'll make the motion and we approve the contract for the next year's audit.
And that's with this Kimberly
Sure.
Mayer CPA.
Yes.
And at the rate of $28.60 plus the $100 filing fee. That's what it is.
Yeah, I shouldn't say next year's, but it's 15, 16. It's actually this year's,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Current.
this past, this current year.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Yes, second.
I have a motion, second, to approve the contract form audit for the FY 2015-16 with Kimberly Mayer's office CPA at the rate of $28.60 plus the $100 statutory filing fee. Roll call vote, please.
Randy?
Yes.
Bryce?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes. Okay, next is discussion action regarding the lease agreement with the Alva Airport Commission.
Okay. Remember before?
I thought we'd already taken care of this.
Okay, here's the deal,
Sorta.
sorta. And I've been emailing Rick about it and kept him in the loop, I think. What we chose was, you remember looking at this map he
Yeah.
gave us? And we chose option A.
Okay.
Well, he emailed me back stating we might not want that because of all of the utilities on where they lie. So I asked him if they would mark the utilities and then have us go look at it.
On both locations?
Yes,
Okay.
and they did, and I notified all of you.
Yeah, and I didn't have a chance to get.
I went by and looked at it, and
I
I
looked at it.
believe Rick looked at it, and then with that, because there are several utilities that run through this piece of property, this looks like the better option.
It almost, the utilities, the way the utilities lie out there, almost neuters that property, actually.
But,
for
like,
turn-
there's
building.
nothing to do anything.
Yeah, because you can't build over the top of it.
No, and so it's one of those situations where that really is not a good piece of property for us to,
For anybody.
for anybody. I don't know what they're gonna do.
And
Is
here's-
this the spray rig hangar? Is that where the spray planing
Let's see, come
houses?
in there.
Here is,
Because this is the main
Yeah.
building right here, isn't it?
yes.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, so this would.
That'd
be-
have to be, the yeah. that's right.
Okay, so then,
See, this was what their future plans were. Remember, he brought us this, and that takes out their future buildings as well. Because once they got to marking the utilities,
They're not
that
gonna
changed
do it
their,
either.
they're gonna not
yeah,
gonna
that's
build
just
it.
gonna be an empty, that's just gonna be an empty lot.
So we're gonna take this spot over here where they plan future development.
Okay.
Okay.
basically, we've got in theory leased property that we can't use for all practical purposes. And so the suggestion is to deal with B. And one of the reasons we wanted that, A, because it went back here to where the runway and the old tarmac was back there. But that won't, there's still,
We're gonna have
you
access
still
there
have
'cause
access.
there's a hangar right
Uh-huh.
there.
You still have access to it, that's correct.
Right, isn't there a hangar right west of what that is? Yeah.
That is, what is it, Kenzie's building? And hangars, and then there's the South Share hangar, so there is access back behind there. Isn't that correct? So, the only thing I did notice, and I'm guessing that it's, that we would be okay, or they wouldn't be suggesting us, but.
That's currently farm ground? Or is it grass
I don't think so.
between?
It's
No,
grass.
not-
It's
Yeah,
grass.
it's
This
grass
is
there,
just,
yeah.
The only thing that's farm ground is on this side of the
west.
runway.
Oh, yeah, because they've taken it all out now with that new stuff and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right. With the, getting ready to do the new hangars. So, Mr. President or Chairman, we need to
That's my wife.
approve the,
Is what we need to do is to
do
approve
property
the-
B instead of A?
Yeah, a revised lease agreement with the airport commission to,
and they're okay with it.
We don't actually have a lease agreement in place
Oh, okay.
yet.
Okay.
We're
But we
still negotiating
voted
this
to
one.
do this
Yes.
one, so
We
how do
voted
we,
that,
how do
yes.
we do
I think
this
if we
correctly
vote
now?
to
Amend.
revise, to amend our prior approval to enter into a lease agreement with what has been designated on our map as property B as opposed to property A.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, I hope that's how I was writing it down. Property B.
And I'll second it. And these lease agreement, are they yearly, just like everything else? July to July, or June 30th?
I can't remember when ours expired. I think it was longer than that, actually. But it'd be, no, it'd be under the same term, so, that we had before.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it didn't matter, I just didn't know.
We don't approve it annually.
no.
Okay.
No, it's ongoing, as long as we pay our rent.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to enter into a lease agreement with Alva Airport Commission on the property that's been designated as property B on the map that's been presented to the board, and amending the prior vote of this board from A to B. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Bryce?
Yes.
Randy?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Okay.
Next is the commercial building at West Lakes Edition.
That would be the big man building. As you know, we sent them a letter to vacate, which they did. And there are some structural repairs that will need to take place before we're able to lease to anybody else. I know the overhead doors is part of it. I'll just tell you that past, who we had agreed to lease to, is now going to lease the Mackey building. So we do not have a tenant. I have a prospective tenant. It would not be near that lease amount. To have someone interested in a building now, whether it's that particular building, that might be too big, but I have been inquired about that building to use as a mechanic shop.
You recall that at our March meeting, Scott Brown presented a request to lease that building on behalf of the company he was associated with.
Premier Arrow.
We voted to enter into a lease agreement with, I guess, PASS.
PASS, Premier Arrow, yeah.
Okay. And with the terms that's set forth in our March minutes. Subsequent to that, that lease agreement, the formal lease agreement was not executed. So, we have a vacated building that needs some repairs, which needed it anyway. But we need to, basically.
Is that building in such repair, we need to do it now to protect the building, or can we wait and see if some tenant's willing to do some of that for the?
The
Right.
doors, I think we need to do the doors, the overhead doors. I'll,
You don't have to show me pictures or anything, I was just curious.
well, I don't have any other than the ones that I took
The
before.
first time,
Yeah,
right.
but
I
I do
remember seeing
have,
those.
I will tell you that when I went out and I met with Merlin out there, I caught him driving by and said, hey, I'm gonna need to get these, because there was only one walk-through door that worked. And we'll need to get those changed and fixed. And, he was able to do that for us, but it'd been after we'd had a bunch of rain, and I didn't find any water or anything where like the roof doesn't leak or anything
And
like
those
that.
big doors aren't leaking water into them where they're dented or
Well,
cracked open?
no, not unless it would.
Blow, just
it
exactly
blow
right.
Underneath
Might
it.
blow snow in.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I was just
but the
wondering
one
if we could
doors-
hold off on some of that in case we found a renter that might offer to do some of that for,
My only fear on that one particular overhead door is when you drive up, just the initial side of the building is a turnoff. And it might be tough to get somebody in there, not knowing that they're gonna have to jumpstart fixing that door to make it secure for their business.
Other than the doors, other major issues that need to be addressed.
Depends on what you call major,
Structural.
If you change the purpose of the building, then I don't know, if we'll fall into a different code for like the bathrooms and stuff like that.
But we're not gonna know that until.
We're not gonna know
Right.
that
until we have
until.
a potential tenant.
Yeah,
But
we-
other than the doors, I mean, you said the roof's okay, is there any other that you're aware of structural?
well, I mean,
And I am not a
I'm trying to
contractor,
remember what I've
so-
seen in the picture. Is that door actually dented?
Yeah.
It's gonna take a new panel in, isn't it, Randy?
Probably, yeah. I'm guessing. I haven't really.
It looks sort of caved in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it
Yeah, I don't
ran
think you can
into.
straighten them very well.
That somebody ran
Like
into?
somebody ran into it, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm guessing we should fix the doors just for appearance, just to make it more attractive for some, but nothing else in there and wait till we do get a tenant to see what they need.
Good, bad, or indifferent, I'm gonna show you a picture of the door anyway.
It's come apart right there too, because they've got
Uh-huh.
vice grips holding it together.
Yeah, so, I mean,
So is this
and I
door
didn't even look
workable?
and see if they took their vice grips.
Do you know if this door's workable?
I do not know.
It looks decent.
I haven't tested them up and down. There is a door on the north side, which they had foamed in completely and had actually was using it as a wall
On the west?
on the north.
No,
On north end.
there's only one overhead door, north, right?
No, I think there's still two.
Oh, okay. I thought there was just one. But I could be wrong. I mean,
Here's
I'm
another picture of that door you're looking at. Here, I'll let you look through half of them or something.
But they have,
See if we have a picture of the north end. Is this the north end? No, that's the roof. Get it turned right, see what you're looking
here, this is the north door. See, there's two of them.
Oh, is there?
They were
Okay.
utilizing that one as a, and I would have to go back out there. I didn't take any pictures. I have to go back out there and see, but it is foamed. Like I said, it is foamed in, so I don't know if it is operational. And I kind
Two
of
there.
looked at it to see, because we're in fairly close proximity to our fence, so I don't know, other than for like airing it out, I don't know that you can
Actually
actually
do
utilize
use
it
it.
as a pass-through, as a drive-through. So,
at.
anyway,
Do we have suggestions on who might be able to look at that and give us an estimate?
I mean, figured I'd call them Norval.
Norval.
Yeah,
Or FM Erickson,
or FBM, either one.
both of them,
We could get
could maybe give us
an idea, a quote on both of those.
Well, my suggestion would be, at least on that one door, that obviously has damage, that we ought to have an estimate, maybe from at least those two, to come back and see about getting repaired and what kind of cost, just to make
if
sure.
they can repair it or whether it has to be a new one.
Yeah, replace
If
it.
there's holes on that one, like I said, I don't remember. If there's holes on that one where they've taken that stuff off, actually, I think they've left maybe
Oh,
racks.
where they hang,
So I don't know.
But it looks like they've done that, the screws are on the ribs on the inside of that.
If they took that off and there's holes in the door,
But they may have mounted them on those ribs
Yeah.
inside on the
That's what it
panel.
looks like.
It kind of does,
it appears that
So if
way.
they did, that wouldn't cause any outside
yeah.
no.
leakage or anything.
And well, there wouldn't be around it because like I said, it's foamed in,
Yeah.
I think
this one door.
the two south doors, make sure
They're both working.
that east door's operable.
Well, while they're there, they better see if those north ones need anything. I mean, if we're gonna, I mean, for nothing else, you'll need ventilation through there if somebody uses it, if they're, you know, they need to be operational. If we're gonna get an estimate of what needs to be done, we better see if they
Or
work.
Break
maybe
it
we
down.
maybe we ought to have an
Break it
estimate
down.
per door.
Yeah,
I'll break it down.
uh,
Okay.
is what.
So I'll make a motion that we have Sonia check with Ritters and Erickson's on repairing or replacing the 4 doors out at our Westlake building.
I'll second that.
Okay. Got a motion and a second, to authorize Sonia to communicate with those two companies in regard to repair, replacement, and get estimates on those. Roll call vote, please.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
How, do we want to put this off to the next meeting? Or,
Why don't we get our estimates and then see what they think needs to be done? If we
Okay.
need to have like a short special or something, we could do that.
okay. Bryce,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes. Next item's on update on the Winoka Incubator Project.
well, he's almost finished with that, and I kind of gave you a little update when we went through the financials. Like I said, we turned all the utilities over into our name, shut the gas off as quickly as possible. And just left on electricity, water, which is through the city of Winoka. I don't have anyone right now interested in that building. That wouldn't cause us to lose our status. So, and also, so, anyway, but that is done. I did have, it sprayed around there. But I think that I did that before our last meeting.
Was that just the Roundup or ground sterile?
No,
Or do you remember?
both,
Okay.
because the kosher weeds and stuff were so tall up around it. And then to keep them from growing back up in the parking lots and stuff.
Good.
Good luck.
I know, I'm having trouble at my own house.
Okay, any other questions for you guys? If not, let's move on then to the WEDA grant application. I guess that was approved.
Yep, and we don't have to act as a pass-through. The Winoka Industrial Authority had contacted us, or contacted me about, trying to obtain some funds from NOEDA to purchase a strip of land north of where their CDR building is, where their industrial park is, next to the railroad tracks. And there is a strip of uninhabitable land right there that they would be able to purchase and clean up and make it useful again. And I put together a grant application application for them. And I think, Winoka Industrial Authority is going to, they are providing matching money. The amount of the grant was $30,000. The Winoka Industrial Authority is gonna match that, and then, John Smiley, the county commissioner in that area, had said that he would help them with the access roads once they needed that. So, anyway, we were able to help Winoka expand their industrial park.
Good.
At some point in time, we'd like to do some kind of collaborative presentation. I mean, they'll get their funds today. Like I said, we don't have to act as a pass-through, but we were an entity that helped. So, we would like to show that we were able to.
You say they will get their funds today?
They'll get their
This
funds
was a grant you applied for last fall?
Last week,
Oh, just last week?
the day that I went to the hospital.
Oh, okay. Well, usually those OEDA deals are, you apply in the
This is
fall.
Noeda, this is the Tri-County.
Oh, okay, NOEDA. Okay, sorry about that.
This is a Tri-County. So, anyway, I thought we may have to pass it through us, but we don't.
Okay.
It goes directly to them.
Okay, any questions, gentlemen? All right, let's move on then to number 11, discussion and possible action on the request for approval by WCDC to amend the bylaws.
Okay, I'm asking to amend their bylaws and so they can serve 3 consecutive 3-year terms. And they have approved that. And so it has to come to you guys for your approval. As you know, it's hard to find board members that are, once you get them up and running, since we meet 4 times a year unless there's a special, you get them broke in and then they're gone. So, that originally when this was revised, it was a 3-year term. That wasn't long enough. So, we had revised it to 2-year. I'm asking for it to be 3 years, 3 consecutive 3-year terms. That would be a total of 9 years. It's not much different than what you have in most other
Okay,
political.
that maybe that's why you sent us this June 12, 2013,
It
because
could be,
in that
'cause it
meeting,
is when you did it.
at that time, they were only allowed by the original bylaws to serve a term of 1 year before they went off.
That's
and that
one
was-
3-year term before they had to be off for a year.
Yeah,
And then.
that's right.
And we amended it then. So
And
maybe.
we amended then
Maybe
to.
I did.
Yeah, I think there was a thought process.
Thank you.
So back in June of 2013, because they were having a hard time finding people to replace, we voted to approve their request to make it 2 consecutive 3-year terms, and I guess now they're wanting to do that. And the
3.
next one will be like federal judges, will be lifetime appointments.
No, it will not.
I'm just seeing where this is going.
No, because this is a pain,
So, at the end of their, each 3-year term,
They have the option to stay or,
well, they always have the option to leave. I
Yes.
guess they can always
Yeah.
quit, but I guess the board has the option, or somebody has the option of appointing somebody new at that point in time.
Mhm. It doesn't
It doesn't.
change their ability to replace them if they choose to. The board thinks that's appropriate for some reason.
You know.
Got a crazy or something.
yeah, you still have the opportunity at a certain time to
Right.
take care of business if need be.
And they've approved that.
Yes, they've approved it and now they need your approval. They approved it at their meeting in March.
I'll make a motion to approve the WCEDC amended bylaws to allow the board member to set 3 consecutive 3-year terms.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to approve the request to amend the bylaws of the WCEDC to allow board members to serve 3 consecutive 3-year terms if desired. Roll call vote?
Bryce,
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
And should I I think I sent you, didn't I send you the revised event? Yeah, I did, okay. Well, you have it, yes. Because we
Mhm.
have the ACO SIG.
The
Insurance.
next is to renew the insurance with ACOSIG for
Okay.
2016, 2017.
Because that came in the mail Monday.
And what is this?
That's our overall insurance.
Liability and
Is it our board liability for
And our
ourselves
property.
and property? How much is it?
$2,640.
if it's like the rest of it probably went down.
It did.
It did go down,
Yeah, we did. Don't ask me to tell you how much, or I'm gonna have to.
but it went down.
It did.
I'm pretty sure it went down across the board,
And-
which is unusual. I don't know why.
And we
That
pay
quick.
proportionately, I mean, we have always done that,
Well,
basis of the county.
we as
We
The-
pay share.
the committee pays a portion of this as well. So you guys pay the 2,640, and then we reimburse you, I believe, 1,500, or vice versa. You pay 1,500 and we pay the difference. I think you pay 1,500 and we pay the difference. And in the past, that's been to your benefit. Because it was, I think, like 3,400.
I'm pretty sure it's gotten cheaper, but I do know that if you don't have it yet, that it is cheaper to pay it all at once.
And that's what
You-
we've done. We've
yeah.
never paid
I
it
mean,
in
there is a
installments.
difference in that. So I'll make the motion, we pay it all in one payment and renew it.
Second.
Okay.
We got a motion and a second to renew the insurance with ACOSIG for 2016-17 and to pay our proportionate share of the premium. In a lump sum.
And then, do you want me to go with that and see, but I believe that you guys paid 1,500.
I don't think it would just, at this point, we're just authorizing renewal and payment of whatever that amount is.
2,640, because
That
we
would be
reimburse
total.
you. Okay.
Roll call vote, please.
Randy?
Yes.
Bryce?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes. Next item is new business. I will advise you guys that I think Sonia received and I received an email late yesterday afternoon from Mike Van Landingham that he's resigning effective immediately. No explanation for that. I stopped by this morning to see if I could visit with him. He wasn't in before I had to come out here to this meeting, so I haven't had an opportunity to talk to him, so I don't know whether there was some particular issue or just timing or anything else, but I will try to get that information.
I talked to him and
Oh, okay.
he did, but he didn't elaborate. He just said he had too many things going on. I mean, I didn't pry, so.
I'll probably, no,
Okay.
I'll ask him. Anyway.
What do we, or how can we, or is it possible for us to change our bylaws so that that person can be something else?
I don't know. I mean,
Someone
I know
else,
that the original, the way they had it designated, yes. I mean, I've read that thing. I haven't read it recently. I think we just need to look at that and see. what
Because that
the
seat
requirements
is
are.
a,
It's a designated for the Alva Industrial
Industrial Foundation.
Or its equivalent, yeah.
and a lot of those people are passed on or
Mhm.
certainly don't want to serve. I mean, we had a hard
I
time.
think last
finding-
time, yeah, it
Had a
was.
really hard time. I think we need to look into
Because
Yeah.
remember, you
how we
changed
can
your
change
meeting
that
dates
particular seat.
in order to
Yes.
accommodate.
So what are our seats? We have that one, we have a county commissioner, we have a city councilman,
I'm that large.
and Richard is a
Alva Chamber.
Yeah, Alva Chamber.
Alva Chamber. And then we had the Alva whatever.
This is the trusteeship one is the county commissioner. Trusteeship 2 is selected from the membership of the Alva Industrial Foundation, which is the seat that Mike was in, and he took Bob Davison's place. And trusteeship 3 is a member of the governing body of the city of Alva.
That'd be me.
And Trusteeship 4 is from the membership of the Alva Chamber of Commerce, and trusteeship 5 is selected by a majority of the duly qualified and acting trustees.
So, and all of our appointments are for
Ever.
or continuization until that body decides to replace
Or
them?
you
Mhm.
choose not to fill it, yeah.
So it'd be a resignation, or they would.
Or the people appointing you decides that they want somebody else. Or, of course, in Randy's nice case, if we're no longer a county commissioner, Alva City Councilman, then
Individually, you'd have to.
they have to
Yeah.
appoint somebody else.
That's correct. But I'd have to look and see, because I think it requires a unanimous vote to amend the bylaws. I think I looked at it one time before, so I'd have to look again to see. You can't have a split vote on it.
All right, but is that unanimous of the people
the
sitting on the
board.
board at the time? Or
I'll look at that, but I'm pretty sure that would have to be the case. But I'll look at that, and we can report back
And
shortly.
is there another body we could, like the commissioners or city council or chamber, that we could grab somebody from, or would it be best to do it at large? The two
Well,
of them, like yourself and.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the board would have to consider that, whether there's an actual industrial type of body
Committee
that's
or
active.
body or board or something.
I mean, for instance, you got Winoka down there with
Yes,
their
I said the
foundation.
Winoka
you know.
Industrial
Mhm.
Authority.
You know, they would be a possibility of having
This is Woods
that as
County.
an organization.
That's what I was gonna ask. It's Woods County. That thing is pretty much outside the commissioners and an at-large set up for the city of Alva. I wondered if it wouldn't be a wise decision to bring somebody from, or make it a possibility for Freedom or Tacoma or Winoka.
Well, and I'm just sort of logically thinking of the box here, but it seems like Winoka would be a more obvious choice, because they engage in regular efforts to get industry in their community in this area.
No, I don't
mean, more-
disagree with, I
more
don't
so
disagree
than
with that, but
Freedom.
I mean, just an outside,
Yeah.
Ben's it is a Woods County, authority. I mean, it seems like it's, like I said, almost essentially, except for the commissioners, it's, based just out of Alva people.
Well, the at-large. could
With that
be-
one at-large
Could
is-
be
Could
anybody.
anybody.
Yeah. But it really wouldn't be a bad deal to have two at-large.
Well, I say it's up to whatever this group wants to do. I'll look at the particulars on if that's possible and how it's possible to get that done.
I would appreciate it if you would, because I think we need to do something. Because we'd like to never
Well-
got Mike to, anybody from that organization to be a member. I don't know if we'll ever find
I'll be
another.
quite honest, when we did that the last time, I wasn't sure if that organization still existed
I know.
until then.
And they even approached us when we were trying to get somebody from their board. I mean, Steve even asked, how do we get that changed?
Yeah.
So, it's not like that we can't, if we have a viable project to take to them. I mean, they do have some funds and they do want to do some projects, but, and they weed through them really well. I mean, they want a good project. Because it's not grant funds that they do or anything. I mean, they loan money out.
How would I find out who the membership of the Alva Industrial Foundation is?
Steve Bramlett.
Steve Bramlett was the contact person we had before.
And the membership list that I had, and I'll be happy to try and find that and give that to you, Lynn, is, I mean, to be quite honest, many of them are deceased.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that, and I thought, that's an interesting story, actually.
Well, that was kind of the Gene Filson era, I think, that, you know, when they started those kinds of things. And that,
That was, if I'm not mistaken, that was the group that they assembled that you bought in for a certain amount. They contributed money, bought in for a certain amount to, and then they helped fund the Kinsey project, get it off the ground.
kind of the movers and the shakers of
Yeah.
Time.
At that time, 50 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, we will try to look into that, and then, like I said, depending on what we need to do on some of this other issues, we may have a special somewhere, just because I'd like to try to get a board member approved or amendment if we need to do that or whatever.
So,
Plus, we may need to have a meeting on those doors.
Yep.
So we might be
Yeah.
able to put that,
Yeah.
those two things together on a special meeting maybe.
is there any time that is really bad?
I won't be here all next week, if it happened that fast.
Okay, well,
Nah,
I
it won't
probably
happen
won't
that
either.
fast.
I
I'm
didn't think
pretty
so.
sure. I'm pretty sure we moved
I just
okay
thought I'd
enough.
tell you.
Thanks. I like that you're coordinating your schedule with mine.
I think it's the week of the 12th of July that I will be calling on.
And I think you're gone the first week of July? Is that right? And you're going on
August.
vacation
No.
by yourself? Okay.
Oh, is she going on vacation? She taking me?
Evidently not, sorry.
Okay. I guess I'll call her when I head
I
out.
guess when the time comes, we may just have to,
Maybe it wasn't vacation, but she said she would be
Boss,
available.
see if anybody
for
can
the
be there.
ELC
meeting.
trip, that's
Okay.
at the end of July, first week of August.
I guess when the time comes, you'll just have to send out an email.
Okay.
We'll try to
If we had
figure out
something
when
like
we
that,
all
that'd be a
meet.
relatively short meeting. Maybe it would be better at a noon time or something, we just figured it out. That's the only new business I had that obviously came up between
Okay.
the agenda and whatever, so you had something else?
Well, we'll do it under my
Okay.
update, I guess.
Any other new business? If not, we'll move to 14 WC EDC update.
Just a couple things, and you covered that one, which is light. The next NOAA networking launch is June 28th. It'll be held at the Woodward Conference Center. The keynote speaker is Ben Kimbrough. He's the Senior Director of Special Projects with the Ross Group, which is headquartered in Tulsa. He has served as the Governor's Unmanned Aerial Systems Council, or on the Governor's Unmanned Aerial Systems Council. He's been on there since July of 2012. He was previously the Executive Vice President of Tactical Electronics. He'll be speaking on the current state of unmanned systems industry in Oklahoma and what Northwest Oklahoma can do to capitalize on that. Nice. That's June 28th, which is a Tuesday at 11:30 at Woodward Conference Center. There's that. Commerce is putting out, and I don't know if you all received these, but it's their new Pioneer system has gone digital. I can send you that information if you want that. And then I received this from Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway. Dear Sonia, last year BNSF Railway initiated a site certification program aimed at identifying optimal rail serve sites for customer development along the BNSF network. This letter is to inquire about our interest in having Woods County Industrial Park, which is the AlvaReview Real Park, considered as a participant in this exciting economic development program. BNSF has identified a small number of sites and parks throughout our service area as potential candidates for participation in this round of certification. They've selected the Woods County Industrial Park as a candidate based on its multiple advantages to the community, developers, and BNSF, which we feel will result from our cooperative effort. So we're going to discuss this tonight at the AVARD Real Park, but I thought that was quite an honor that they've selected our site to be certified, and so that will help in our recruitment efforts. Okay,
That's it?
yep.
Any questions for Sonia?
I might be out of pocket some after Friday. I'm having some bigger stones broken into littler stones.
So you're gonna get stoned Friday?
I'm gonna get getting stoned. None of the ways that are fun.
Just like college, huh?
Just like college. Well, you know, I am back in school, so. No, so,
Okay.
but if you need me, I always have this available.
All right. Anything else from WCEDC?
I don't believe so.
Good, we're adjourned.